There are places in the Blue Ridge where the soil is darker than it should be, not from shadow, from what once stood there, long before Asheville and Boone, long before the Cherokee, and long before the Spanish. These mountains were already old, and they were already watching. Welcome to Echoes of the Blue Ridge. I'm Ryan Phillips. When most people think about the history of western North Carolina, they start in the 1700s. Scots-Irish settlers, cabins, frontier forts. But if you stop there, you miss thousands of years. Because this land was not empty. It never was. Long before the Cherokee became the dominant cultural presence in these mountains, there were organized societies here. Builders, traders, farmers, connected to a much larger southeastern world. Archaeologists refer to part of this early mountain culture as the Pisgah phase, dating roughly from 1000 to 1450 AD, and what they've uncovered changes the way we see these mountains. The Pisgah people were not isolated bands wandering through wilderness. They built fortified towns, they farmed corn, beans, and squash, they constructed palisades around settlements, they shaped pottery with distinctive designs that still surface today along river valleys. These weren't scattered camps, these were communities. And they were connected through trade routes that stretched far beyond the Blue Ridge, into the Mississippi Valley and across the southeast. Copper moved, shell moved, ideas moved. The mountains were not barriers, they were crossroads. Then something changed. By the mid-1400s, many of these fortified mountain towns were abandoned. Some show signs of conflict, burn layers, defensive expansion. Others simply fade from the record, and by the time Europeans begin pushing inland in the 1500s, they encountered different tribal configurations, including what would become known as the Cherokee. But here's the important part. History doesn't replace itself neatly. Cultures merge, they absorb, they adapt, they rename. The people the Spanish encountered in the 16th century were not appearing out of nowhere. They were inheritors of something older, something already rooted in these ridges. When you stand on a high overlook in the Blue Ridge today, it's easy to imagine untouched wilderness. But that's an illusion. These valleys were planted, these ridges were watched, these rivers were known by names we no longer remember. Every trail we hike likely follows paths walked for centuries before maps. The mountains don't give up their past easily. They erode slowly, they reveal carefully, but if you look closely at soil color, at settlement patterns, at river bends, you start to realize something. We are not discovering this land. We are arriving late. Next time, we move forward into the 1500s, into a moment when European ambition pushes unexpectedly deep into these mountains, and into a story that wasn't supposed to happen here at all, the Spanish in the Blue Ridge. Until then, listen carefully. The echoes are still here.